So in the Civil and Environmental Engineering Canvas folder, if you go to Modules, scroll about 3/4 of the way down to the Digital Surveying module, you'll see the assignment and whatnot in there. And it's the very bottom file, Semester 1 2020-2021 SWC Survey. So you can click that, and it's best to click Download, and that will start to download that file. Okay. Once you have that file downloaded, save it to your computer drive, and um, I'm just going to open up the CAD file then. Okay, so as you can see here, I've got the CAD file open, and um, basically whenever you open yours, it's hard to see where the actual drawing extents are. So we hit Z for zoom, enter, E for extents, enter. And that will zoom in on this area of our drawing here. Now, one of the first things that we need to do, and one of the tasks in your assignment brief, is that you are to draw a pumping station within the area identified by your tutor. And the best way to draw that, and I'm going to draw it just using the line command, uh, and in your assignment brief, it asks us to draw a pumping station of 5.5 meters by 6.5 meters. So we'll just square that off, and that's that drawn on then. Okay, now we're going to put that on a new layer, so we go to Layer Properties, click this one here for New Layer, and we're going to call this Proposed Building, Proposed BLDG, and we'll just leave it white. We'll double click that and we'll make that current, and we can select that then and change it to that Proposed Building layer. That'll be important for later on. Okay, so now we have that in place, we're going to move it over just somewhere within the flat grass area over here. So I'm going to move it to there. Once we get it to there, I'm going to select the four sides of it again, the four sides, and we're going to rotate it. And you're all going to just rotate it to an individual, so it sits that there's access that you can access in that way. So now we have that in place, what we're going to do is we're going to put some text and we're going to number the corners. So we use dtext, D-T-E-X-T, dtext. Specify the start point. I'm just going to left click here. Specify the height. I think we'll go with 1.5. Enter. Specify rotation angle. It's set at 0, so we just had to enter again. And now we can input our text. So I'm going to put number 1 in here. Left click somewhere and then just hit escape. Now, once I have that done, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a circle from roughly about the center of that number and circle that there. Okay. Once I have that done, select that and we're going to copy it. We're going to copy it to that corner, and that corner. And then double click on those and change that to 2. Change that to 3. And change that to 4. So we have our 4 corners that are labeled. Now, what we want to do is hit escape twice, and with all those numbers, we want to select the number in the circle, and we're going to make sure that they're all on the proposed building, which they are there. Okay. Now, once I have that done, you're going to need, it's probably best to use a pen and paper for the next stage. So our drawing is coordinated, and we can, our drawing's coordinated. So to find the coordinates, we type in ID for the ID of the coordinate and enter. We can check the coordinates of different points. So if I left click that, the coordinates of that point correspond with the survey points that, so that tells us that our drawing has remained coordinated. Okay. Now what we need to do is type ID enter and left click on corner number 1, and you're going to write those coordinates down. 645. So your easting is 645.63.10. You can round that up, 106. Your y coordinate, which is your northing, is 872.798.992, and your z coordinate is 66. So en and z, so your z coordinate is 66.0. Okay, so that's point number 1. So I've just wrote that down on a piece of paper. Okay, when you have that down on a piece of paper, open an Excel sheet and make a very quick table, easting, northing, and z for height, and point number 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then within this here, we can input the figures that you've written down, the 3 decimal places, okay, and that's all in meters. Okay, and once we get that done, then you'll do that for your all our 4 corners. So you'll go to point number 2, ID, and you'll left click on that corner, and you'll note those dimensions down. Okay, so once you get all 4 done and input into your table, we can select these cells and copy that into your CAD drawing. We're going to put it somewhere up around here. So we right click, go to clipboard, and go to paste, and we paste that in about there. Okay, now you will see that it's quite big, so we just scale that down then. Okay, we'll scale that by clicking scale from the bottom left corner, and we'll make that half the size, so 0.5. Okay, we'll probably scale it down maybe a wee bit more, so we'll select that again, scale from the bottom corner, and we'll make it half the size again. And once you get that in done, we move it to about there, and you'll see why in a wee second. So once we have that in place, and that's all filled in, we also ensure that that remains on your proposed building layer as well. We hit escape twice, and we go to our A3 sheet. And within your A3 sheet, I have already set up a viewport. So to enter into viewport, we double click on it. To exit it, we double click on the grey area outside. So I'm going to enter in here and hit Z, enter, E, enter, and you'll see that it has zoomed in to our drawing. Okay. Now, what we haven't done is we haven't scaled our drawing. Okay, so we're just going to slip back here and I'll show you what I mean by that. So if we measure the distance between the footpath and the building, it's showing 3.179 meters. Okay, now that is coming from your total station. That's in meters. But this CAD drawing thinks that that is millimeters. So what we need to do is select this all and very carefully click scale. Click a point down here anywhere, left click and scale by, and be very careful, type in 1000 and hit enter and hit Z enter, E, enter, and you will see that that zooms back in on that, so we can check our distance again. We can measure our distance, and it's now 3,282, so that's in millimeters. So we hit escape twice, and we move back to our A3 sheet, double click, get inside your viewport, hit Z, enter, E, enter, and that zooms in on that for you. Now to scale this drawing, we choose 1 to 100, and we're going to have to probably choose a new scale. So we left click there, scroll right down to the bottom, and we're going to make a custom scale. So we're going to add a scale, and we're going to call it 1 to 200. So 1 paper unit is equal to 200 drawing units. So we click OK, OK again, and that should come up near the top of our list then. And you will see that that should move that into position and show everything, and we double click out of it to get out of it then. Finally, the next thing we need to do is we can delete this stuff here. And normally I still keep the north arrow. The location plan, the scale is actually 1 to 200, so we added that. Proposed development at, we can just change that to Southwest College, Oma campus. Drawing number, you can put any number in there. 1, drawn by, and it's important that you put your initials in here. Put the date in, and the scale will be 1 to 200. Drawing title. So the first drawing you're going to save will be called SWC graphical survey. Once you have that complete with your topographical survey, what we want to do is go up to our layers, click the down arrow, and we want to turn off proposed building, and also we want to turn off our contours. So that just gives us our blank survey. And what we do then is we go to the red A in the top corner, go to export as a PDF, and you will save that as Topo survey. You'll save that. The next one, we change the drawing title, and that will open, sorry for you. Change the title to SWC contours. And again, go to the red A. Or sorry, before we do that, we turn on our contours layer. And we go to the red A. And we export it as a PDF, and we call it contours. The very final thing we do is change the drawing title to SWC proposed building. We turn our proposed building layer on. I have scrolled back and scaled it away by accident. And we export that as a proposed building PDF. And then once you have those 3 drawings done, you will email them to me as soon as possible. So you'll have 3 drawings, topo survey, contours, and proposed building.